evening. Welcome back to JJ's Football Corner. I just recently uploaded the video talking about the Curacao Germany match, and I just wanted to speak a little bit about the Brazil um, Morocco match. No, I'm not going to do a detailed analysis. I'm sure you'll find videos of that online. You understand? JJ's Football Corner is really about just me giving my opinion about certain things. Sometimes I might do more deeper analysis of the match, but I just wanted to focus on a few things when it comes to Brazil. So I've been a Brazil supporter um, since 2006, I would say. That was my first, recollection. As a Jamaican, we adopt Brazil as our second team because obviously, Reggae Boys don't usually qualify for the World Cup. So we Jamaicans we adopt Brazil as our second team, and we support Brazil every time the World Cup comes around. Brazil is who we get behind. Brazil is who we throw our support behind as a majority of the nation does that. Obviously, in recent times you have others who support Germany, England, among other teams. Um, but just want to speak a few things on the match. Now, in terms of the match, I think the result was fair. I think a 1-1 result was fair based on the balance of play. I think I think Morocco was the sharper team. I think Morocco might just be an underdog. They were the sharper team. They were better on the ball. They were very resolute defensively. They didn't offer much. It was a moment of magic from Vinicius that really, shifted and buried that chance there. Very good finish by Vinicius, by the way. They got their goal. Morocco, Saibari, very good finish, very exquisite pass from Brahim Diaz, and so it was a fair result. I think both sides at points cancelled out each other, and so I can't complain too much about the final score. What I will complain about though is well, I have a couple things I'll complain about. One is the passive nature of Brazil at times. If you watch Real Madrid under Ancelotti, especially towards the end of his reign, um, Ancelotti had Real Madrid playing this kind of sit-off, counter-attacking kind of football. You understand what I mean? Where, in a sense, they offer up space, um, and they defend close to the box and then they counter. And we saw that in like I said, we saw that in Real Madrid's towards the end of his reign there, and it didn't go down well with fans because it always made Madrid seem as if they were 1 minute away from conceding a goal. It was never convincing. It was never a convincing defensive setup for me. I'm not a Madrid fan, by the way, but I watch football, so I watch Madrid. So I saw that in Brazil's play, the way they chose to sit back a little bit, sit off, and it was so passive, man. Like Morocco had so many chances on the ball. They had so many opportunities in midfield to just pass it around, to move through midfield, and I just was like, what's happening here? I remember posting on my WhatsApp status at halftime, just get off Casemiro. Casemiro was burned out by minute 25, and they were just too they were porous like a sponge, man. It was just very bad in midfield, and I don't know. Ancelotti needs to get that sorted out, right? That kind of sit back open midfield kind of approach, it won't work. It won't work. And against a better opposition, Brazil will get beaten. Now, again, I don't expect Brazil to win this World Cup, but I do believe we can go far. I do believe they can go far. Um, but I don't know, man. Like not with this approach. Not with this approach. The second thing I want to really highlight or complain about is Igor Thiago. Now, Thiago is a good player. I'm not gonna be one of those guys who be like, oh, this guy's a pen merchant and whatever. He's a good player. But is he the best player? Um, does he suit what Brazil wants to do? Now I understand, Joe Pedro has not always made use of his opportunities to play for budget for Ancelotti. As a matter of fact, he kind of struggled a little bit. Whether he struggled due to the tactical setup or due to players not clicking with him or due to him not getting enough game time, I don't know. I cannot speak on that. I can just speak on the fact that I personally believe, and again, I can't go against the Don because Carlo Ancelotti is clearly a bigger, better manager than me. I'm just a guy with a terrible quality phone talking on the internet, right? So I'm not gonna, you know, tell Carlo Ancelotti what to do. I just believe that Joe Pedro should have been to this World Cup. Not ahead of Igor Thiago in any case, probably instead of Neymar, but Joe Pedro offers something that Igor Thiago does not have, and that's movement. Movement off the ball, on the ball, he does certain things. He's tricky. He can dribble, he can pass. He does things. He has things in his game, in his locker that Igor does not have. So I would have brought Joe Pedro. I was shocked when he didn't make it, and I thought that they needed that dynamism when they needed a goal that they did not have. Now, they brought on third thing, they brought on Cunha and Luis Enrique. No, listen, I'm not gonna knock Cunha. I'm not the biggest Mateus Cunha fan. Um One, he plays for my rival, Manchester United. But overall, I just think he flatters to deceive. I think Cunha is somebody that flatters to deceive. I don't. That's just my opinion. You might have a different opinion. And I don't know enough about Luis Enrique, so I'm not gonna say anything negative towards the guy. I'm sure he's there on merit as well. But I just thought that you need a goal, though. You're a goal. You need a goal. You're not a goaler, but you need a goal. Why are you not putting on Hendrick? You understand me? Like, why are you not putting on Hendrick? Why is Hendrick not getting a chance to show himself to be that guy? We know that Hendrick is tricky. He's a flair player. He adds something that might be missing from this Brazil team. Why didn't he get a chance to come on? It was weird. It was strange from Carlo. Carlo never picked him a lot when he was at Madrid. I wonder if there's some personal grudge there. I would not want to think so because, you know, coach of Carlos stature, you don't want to believe that he has some sort of vendetta against a player. But you really have to wonder why it was that Hendrick just never got a chance to come on and do something. It's strange. And the fourth thing, so that I'll talk about is build up play. They need to do better with the build up play. We didn't create a lot of chances. Now, granted, Morocco is a good team, and we probably have a better showing against Scotland and Haiti. But at some point, we're gonna come up against a big gun. At some point, we're gonna come up against a Netherlands, a Germany. We cannot continue to play this way. We cannot continue to produce next to nothing this way. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Brazil, you're not good enough right now. Maybe you'll grow into it as the tournament continues, but it's just not good enough right now. And yeah, again, it's a fair result, but I was still disappointed in the result because I believe they have the talent to play better football, but Carlo has to find the right balance. Carlo has to find the right balance with this team. They have to do better. They have to do better. You know, Brazil has been disappointing for some time. They have to do better this year. So thanks for tuning in. Those are just a few of my thoughts on Brazil versus Morocco.